I'm just a lazy video gamer, even too lazy to get an own theme song. Hi, my name isn't important, I'm just a lazy gamer, and as you can see in the back, I'm a huge fan of the Mega CD, especially for Corpse Killer. But I'm too lazy to show you about this game. Instead, I show you this. This is my brand new Arcade 1 machine. It's customized with a WrestleFest decor and it plays awesome. I bought this baby directly from eBay. It came as a Street Fighter 2 cabin. It's the first model of the Arcade 1-ups. I bought also a customized decor because I'm a huge fan of the game WrestleFest and I think it fits perfectly to it. I bought this baby from a company from France. Its name is Japan Arcade, and he is doing all the modifications in there and modifications maybe also for your own belongs. So let's fire it up. It comes now with a dip switch, a little wheel for the volume with some joysticks and buttons. They are very good, they are very fine. It has a great feel for playing, and instead of the regular 3 or 4 games, it comes with a built-in Pandora box. It has 3,000 games on it. Over 3,000, 3,188 I guess. You're having the opportunity in the menu of the Pandora box to set some favorites, and as you can see, of course, WrestleFest is my #1 here. They are coming with Street Fighter. It comes with many King of Fighters. It comes with Fatal Furies. It even has the original Punch Out Arcade on it. It has many SNK games on it. And the next game is one of my favorites. It was never released at any home console. It's Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. It's a Final Fight side-scrolling style beat 'em up. Of course, Final Fight is on it. There's Double Dragon on it. There's Super Mario Bros. The arcade version on it. And this is great too. It comes with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, of course. So it comes even with the Simpsons Arcade game. It has Streets of Rage on it, but Pandora box, for those who are not familiar with that, these are cheap emulation consoles for plug and play. You can have it just for your TV, or like such a thing, a Yamaha board with the connector to put it in an Arcade 1-up. It has many great games on it. It's not cheap. It's I guess 850 euros around that point. But if you counting the games there are on it, it's priceless. It's making so much hours of fun. It's unbelievable. It has, as I can say, really many great games on it. It's just here are the favorites by the Pandora box 12. You will be able to put in 30 games as favorites. So they appear on the top of the bar of the selection screen, and then you having King of Fighters, you having even more King of Fighters. You're having more King of Fighters. Yeah, that is a little tear in my eye that it comes with so many variations, but for a fan of King of Fighters, it's awesome. It comes with Marvel vs. Street Fighter, it comes with all variations of Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 0, countless. It comes with other Capcom arcade games like Slam Masters. You find the list on Google if you like to see which game is on it. It has even also a little bit more obscure games on it you never probably heard of. But it's awesome. Most games run perfect. I found 2 or 3 games. Sadly, Tekken 3 is on it, and it doesn't run perfect. It has some slowdown, but when a slowdown appears, most time it's not that bad or not that joybreaker. What's sad on NBA Jam, which is on this cabin, that game doesn't run very well. It's almost broken up, in my opinion. But as you can see, there are listed 322 sites with 20 games each on every site. You having hours, days and weeks, months of fun, and it's perfect. But now I get back to the startup screen here right now to show you how good the emulation is on those games I prefer to play. And I have down there at the controller a time button to raise the credits. That's necessary for arcade games. Of course, you must have some credits, and I hope you see it. Having right now a little disclaimer, I'm filming direct with a camcorder on the screen. I don't work with picture capturing, because I think everyone who watch this video and decide to buy such a baby or anything else has the right to have a wow effect when he plays the game by himself. So I started the game. We almost like the most. I say we because I played it with my daughter. It was very funny and she liked it too. The Simpsons Arcade game was only released on PlayStation 3 digitally and was pulled off the PlayStation Store a while ago. So there is no official way to play this game. Instead you are very patient and wait for the official arcade one-up machine. But here in Europe it's a little bit difficult to get those machines, because this company who distributed it officially in Europe are not the fastest one. So as you can see, it's a regular side-scroll beat 'em up. It's in my opinion the best Simpsons game that ever was released. All the Space Mutants versus the World, Virtual Bart, Itchy and Scratchy, Krusty Funhouse games, in my opinion. Yeah, that would be a great special for the angry video game nerd, because this game, in my opinion, sucks. But I'm not the youngest man. Having good memories at the arcades when they are in the big times before the Dreamcast era came, the second Dreamcast. I will say it's the death of the arcade, because the Dreamcast, the PlayStation 2 was so powerful that you can have a fantastic game at home and don't get to an arcade. But in those days, back in the early 90s, mid 90s, the side-scroll beat 'em ups was very popular. So every second game or every third game was a side-scroll beat 'em up, and for good reason. It was always a good fun with a buddy to kick some ass instead of fighting against each other. So you see, I'm really not that good. You can set up the difficulty in the option menu of the Pandora box for some games, not for all, but for the most. But here now, it's just fine. It's okay for me to go get the game over, because I want to show you something that was I heard of from the original arcade one-up machine, from the Simpsons, from other YouTubers. They're complaining about a little sound lag in the intro, and this sound lag, when Lisa plays the sax, is also in here. I checked it on the PlayStation 3 version, and there's not. But here is it also in there. I believe maybe it was in the original that way. Now it's just playing fine again. So you saw it. Lisa plays the sax very silent. Doesn't hurt that much. And as I said, this cabin, in this way, it cost me 850 euros. I guess I'm not pretty sure right now. It is a natural born Street Fighter cabinet, so that costs you 350 euros maybe. The Pandora box inside costs you 70 euros. The Sunva sticks are also up to 80, 100 euros. The wiring inside, well, I'm gonna show you a little bit later, costs you too, if you do it by your own. And if you do it by your own, you have to manage all, to coordinate the shippings, to having the right stuff. And as I said, I'm a lazy gamer. I'm so very glad and very thankful that someone out there who's doing that for me, or for us maybe. I appreciate that very much. So, going back from this game to another game is very simple. You're pressing down the two start buttons, a little menu appears. You have to be quick and choose it, and you're back in the menu. So if you calculate it with the prices that are set for the separate parts, like the joysticks, like the Pandora, like the device, and of course the cabin, you'll really fast find out that the guy from Japan Arcade doesn't get rich by doing that machine for you, but of course he get his 50 euros or so. it's it's an absolute good service. He's there for his customers. I think it's a very fair price, and for what you get. So I open it up for you and I show you now the nasty insides. You see some additional chips and converters for the VGA signal. I tried to show you that in the camera. It's really easy, because he's writing on each cable for what it is. If you ever saw an arcade one-up machine, an original, unmodified, by yourself, you're having here the PCB, who's just connecting to the joy board. That's where it's down there. So, and of course the AC plug. Now you're having a little bit more wires for the joy board buttons, for the power supply, and of course the heart of it at all. I tried to show it. You see down there is this famous Pandora box. It's very important for those who don't want to have Pandora box 12. Pandora box 12 is perfect for 90s, 80s arcade experience, but there is a Pandora box out there who has also some additional games on it, like Genesis games or Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, Nintendo games, and Master System games. I show you now the power supply. It's this dark thing down there, but it's very easy. He made a fantastic job, and once if you close it, you never see these insides again, and it doesn't bother you. So let's fire it up again. The Pandora Box 14 has some great games on it, from the Genesis, the Mega Drive, or the Super Nintendo, and it has this fancy little intro. Maybe some YouTubers use that. So now I'm knowing where to get this. I'm too lazy to doing such a thing, and the Pandora Box 14 is even more a wow thing. You're having the opportunity to put in over 80 games as favorites, and it comes with over 5,000 or over 4,000. I'm not pretty sure. I believe it's 4,000 games on it, and some games run better, like Tekken 3, and as I said, most games still here. They're having some changes in the game listing from each Pandora box to another, but the great games are on this version too. But here's a little absolute burner. I was so surprised it was on it. It's G-Lock from Sega, the arcade original game. Not also is it on the Mega Drive version, but the arcade version is graphically fantastic. It has Afterburner, but I have to mention, with emulation they're coming one big problem, cause the Pandora box does the button mapping for you. You can change that, but you change it for every game and not particular for one game. So it's a little bit a mess to do that, because you would have to let the arcade one-up open and change it via option menu every time you're playing any game. It's not that great. So enjoy the games for perfectly playable on the system, and the other one, yeah, not being too sad. I just want to mention it, but there's also Starblade on it. What was not on the Pandora Box 12, as I said, over 1,000 games more. You're having a version of Outrun. It's a little bit funny because I got an Outrun cabinet, a used one, bought also over eBay from a private person from America. I had a great deal with that machine, and it plays just fine. And it's a little bit weird to play this game with a joystick, but it's okay. It's on this machine now. It's also a lot of fun. There are a ton games, of course. For Arch Rival is it on here? It's maybe, let me say, the grandfather of NBA Jam. NBA Jam is on here, but the Genesis Mega Drive version, so it's okay to have it here, but it's not okay perfect, but it's a good fun. So one game surprises me totally, does it on here, and I'll show you that in a few seconds, because I want to mention it. As you can see, maybe, and no, you don't see it. I try to get it a little bit closer now, because I don't want to play it. I just want to show it. There's Streets of Rage 2. I go up again. That's Streets of Rage 2 with the Turtles characters. On Pandora Box 14 are many hacks and many variations of hacks from famous games, like Streets of Rage 2, like Streets of Rage 3, like Mario games. There are a ton of it. Some are cool and nice to play, and some are just a disgrace, like Cult Fighter. Everyone who ever saw a video about Cult Fighter, it's yeah, I just talk about it. I don't want to shock you with that. So I centered the camera again and crank up the volume, cause the next game, wow, that kills me every time, is one of the greatest wows that gave me Pandora Box 14. That's, of course, Kill Instinct for the Super Nintendo. It's on here. It's awesome to having this game. It was a child dream of me back at the day when the game was in the arcade and released then to the Super Nintendo to build my own arcade. Now I can, or let it build for me, and can have fun with this game as long as I like. It's the only fighting game on any arcade machine whoever I was good in, cause The Street Fighter 2 style of special moves are very hard to pull off. With an arcade stick, I prefer the console versions of the games. It's a lot easier to do the special moves on a Super Nintendo or Mega Drive, but this game, it rocks. So, as you can see, I played it once or twice before. I'm a little bit sad because Arcade 1-Up delayed the original Kill Instinct machine. They're getting it now in America. Maybe in summer next year we get it in Europe. And the waiting is the hardest time, Tom Petty said. And he was right in that particular point. So I only want to just demonstrate you the game, but it sucks me in every time when I start it up. Maybe now I'm going game over, so I can So, isn't a moon eclipse or solar eclipse, it is the built-in credit button. It's sitting right on the joyboard. And you have to push this button, of course, to get in some credits, as you can hear. It raises the credits, and there's a little trick we're gonna tell you in a second. So, as I said, I put in some credits. Now, if I wanna play something like side scroll, beat 'em up, or of course WrestleFest. I'm searching for it. It's down there. Yeah. I started with the first player control panel, and now the game boots up. I can add the credits with the second player start button. It also is the use the activated credits button, as you can say, and you raise the credits. So just holding it down and it will raise your credits, so you can finish every game on the machine. For example, by Turtles, I played it through with over 100 lives, so it was a piece of cake then, of course. And in this game, if you get out of Stamania, you can buy you some health back with the credit. now the demonstration effect. If you wanna show someone your achievement or your a little trick, it never happens. Okay, you see I'm now lost some health. I put the credit button, I took a credit, and my stamina is back. Punch-Out, the arcade game, is emulated on it. That means that instead of 2 monitors, it's only displayed by 1 monitor, but it's playing fine. And there are also Ice Climber on it, Super Mario Brothers, Mario Brothers, a lot of early Nintendo arcade games like Exit Bike is on the machine as well. Turtles the arcade game is also on the system, as well as Turtles in Times. It's a little bit different from the Super Nintendo version, but this was typically for the arcade games or the console versions. They were a little bit different. Also on the system is Sunset Riders and many more games from Konami, who were in the arcade back in the days. So if you see, I'm pretty suck in these games, but I liked to play it. There are a bunch of Street Fighter adaptation conversations on it and variations. Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter 2, and as you can see, Street Fighter 3. It is Street Fighter 3, the second impact and the third impact on the machine as well, and they just run perfect. There are a bunch of Street Fighter adaptation conversations on it and variations. Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter 2, and as you can see, Street Fighter 3. It is Street Fighter 3, the second impact and the third impact on the machine as well, and they just run perfect. As you saw at the title screen, this is Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, one of my favorite games and one of the games that made me the system must have. It's never released on any console at home. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up game like Final Fight, but you have to rescue dinosaurs looks very good, awesome in playability. It's a typical side-scroll beat-em up with 5 or 6 stages. Of course, an elevator stage is also in it. But if you like side-scroll beat-em-ups like Streets of Rage or nowadays Streets of Rage 4, you won't be disappointed with the system and the choices of games that were on it. And even Asterix, one of the famous comic books in the world, is here with the side-scroll beat-em-up, who was never released on any home console. What really was sad, because it plays awesome, it has a nice look and plays well. It has a little slowdown from time to time, but it's okay.
So after all, my fazit for this machine is absolutely awesome. You hear it, I played it now with the Pandora 14. There are some sound issues, the emulation isn't perfect. In Pandora 12 they were not in this particular games, the sound issues. There were in 3D games like Tekken 3, so the Pandora box is a mixed bag, but for the price and the space you need for this one machine, and not instead of a room of total maybe 5 arcade one-ups to have all the games that are available, this is an absolutely win. I just can't recommend it enough, and I'm gonna have some serious funny time with it. And if you think about to buy such a machine as well, go to eBay, go to Japan Arcade, looking for the search word arcade one-up, and then two offers appears, one with a Pandora box 12, it's a little bit expensive, and one without, so you could buy a Pandora box by yourself if you like. Yeah, what I should say more, I'm too lazy. There is only one little issue with the top of the joysticks. Don't come to the ID and glue it on. Use instead one of these simple things you are having at home. It will hold perfectly.